guys, Horrorman back for another review. So I just showed you guys the Pamela Voorhees and young Jason Voorhees Comic-Con pack. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into the Part 6 Jason Lives figure. This is one of my personal favorites. This is the first Friday the 13th movie I ever saw. I was actually a kid when I saw it, and it's just a really cool one. It's kind of like a Frankenstein take on Friday the 13th. You know, I don't want to spoil too much, but he was killed off, of course, in Part 4, the final chapter, and he did not reemerge again until Part 6, Jason Lives, in which they actually resurrect him with a fence pole that they tried to stab in him, and you know, lightning brings him back to life. So it was a, you know, kind of a hokey movie, but it was such classic 80s. It was a great movie for its time. So this comes on the same packaging as all the other NECA figures do. It's got that great art, and this is again done by Jason Edmondson. You can actually see where it says Jason down there. That's not Jason Voorhees, people. He's done really good artwork for NECA for these Mego style figures, and he's continued to deliver yet another design. So in the packaging you can see there's a machete right there, and then up top he has a knife, and you can also see on his left side and right side there's actually a sheath for each different one. This particular figure looks like it comes with only the two hands, and then there's the fence pole. There's one section of it, and then there's also another section of it right next to it. So that's actually going to attach to one long piece. And then over to the back, you can see a picture of old Jason holding up that fence pole. Sorry about the reflection on that. And then if you go ahead and read the, you can pause it and you could read the bio, and basically like the story of Part 6, Friday the 13th. So, and of course it features the removable mask, which makes these figures a lot better in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it, and we'll do some comparisons and really check this figure out. Alright, so before I look over the Jason figure, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this artwork. Like I said, again, this is done by Jason Edmondson, and you know, he's done some really cool pieces for NECA, especially the Friday the 13th stuff, and he's done a really nice job on this. Definitely captures the scene from the beginning of the movie. So really nice artwork yet again for the NECA Mego line. Alright, so here he is out of the packaging, and for the most part this is an amazing figure. You know, the clothes has been a topic against you know, NECA for a little while, that they're not fitting perfect or they're a little big, and you can see it a little bit with this figure again, just like the other ones. But you know, like I said, it's a $30 figure. It's not a $200-300 Hot Toys figure. This is almost like a shrunken down version of the old Sideshow figures, but the detail on these is actually much better than the Sideshow figures. So I get some up close photos, and then we'll go over the accessories. Now, one of my favorite parts about Jason figures, no doubt, is the hockey mask, and I love that you can remove it on pretty much every NECA figure that they've ever made of Jason. And this particular figure, I think the mask is just perfect. I mean, they got the holes really done nicely. You can see the crack from Part 3 where he had an axe hit his head. And this is before he has that broken mask. That's actually the end of this movie. But yeah, it's a really nice looking mask. The only gripe I have is that the top of this is sticking out just a little too tall, which is a simple fix. I just have to heat that with a dryer, and I'll just probably push down a little bit, and it should fix it up pretty good. But that's the only real issue I have. Also, I love the little red marking. It's actually like nice and well done. You can look at a couple of the figures. I did see a few that were a little bit different, so you could pick your favorite one. When I was picking these out, I actually saw a mask that was really weathered looking too. So there's a few variations in it. Just, you know, You know, all figures are slightly different. So, but anyway, you can take this mask off pretty easily. And before I show you that grotesque face, one of the different things about this hockey mask particularly is you notice you can't see the wall behind because those eyes are completely blacked out. They actually sculpt something inside here to give it that effect. In Part 6, you really couldn't see the eyes. You know, he used to be called Maggot Head in that movie, and he just had a very dark look in his eyes, and he's covered in maggots, so you really, you know, it's kind of neat that they did that. So here's the amazing head sculpt, and this is just so good, guys. You can see like the decaying kind of mouth here, and then the skin is just kind of peeled back in certain areas. You can see the bone kind of showing through, and it even has a smooth texture to it, which is kind of adds to it. See that open mouth, which I'm really glad they went with like an open mouth expression on him. It really shows that kind of scare when you know, take that mask off. And then he has some pretty good articulation on here. You can actually tilt on this figure a little bit better than I've seen in the past with the Amigo figures. So you can really get some kind of emotion to his head sculpt here. But really well done. And then you can see over to the back, there's various lines and creases and everything, all just to make it look so much older. You know, consider he was buried for a little while. Alright, and then down to the shirt. Not a lot of like wear and tear on this. I'd have to see this movie again. I haven't seen it in a little while. But most of the clothes that he's wearing, I don't think came from the previous movies. He had a similar shirt, but I know he didn't have the gloves, and the pants are different than what he wore. He did encounter some different people at the beginning, so I can't remember if he stole some of this stuff, but I imagine some of the stuff like this belt piece I don't remember him having in any of the other movies. So I believe most of these, the gloves, the belt, and the weapons were all stolen from somebody at the beginning of the movie. And the pants are a little bit lighter than we've seen in the past for the Jason figures, but that is actually authentic to the movie. They may not have been quite as light, but they definitely were different from Part 3 and 4, and of course Part 2. So that's the basic outfit. Really cool look for him. Not too much on the back either. And there's just like a little bit of like blood splatter on the back of the pants. And then the shoes are pretty much typical of what we've seen him with. So, really nice detail on that. So we'll go ahead and go over the accessories. Alright, so here he is with his main accessory, which is the fence piece. It's like a cemetery fence pole, and you can kind of see it in that picture in the background behind him also. You know, like I said before, this is like the Frankenstein Jason movie. This pole unintentionally resurrects him from the dead, and Jason lives. So this weapon is actually pretty unique because he does use it a few times in the early parts of the movie, including killing the director's wife, which is really cool. She pulls out like an American Express card and tries to give it to Jason, and he disappears for a moment, then he sticks her with his pole. So, but yeah, this is a great piece, and the way NECA has done it is fantastic. When I first saw pictures of this, I thought to my head, you know, I had flashbacks of me breaking the Predator spears and stuff like that, but the way this is made is very nice. It actually breaks apart right here, and then you could just pull that out of each hand. So it's two different accessories put together as one. So a really nice touch with that, and it's you know, it's got some good detail on it. For the most part, it was just this old weathered fence. And then inside of here, you see he's got a machete sheath, and these are kind of like a bendy blade, and that could be easily pulled out of here. and it doesn't really have much blood on it. And one of the reasons why is most of these weapons were all new because he was in a grave. I guess they could have put blood on it anyway, but you know, if you have any more of these figures, you got plenty of bloody machetes. And then the other side, he has another sheath, and he has a hunter's knife. And you could just pull that out. And then it's nice, kind of like a Rambo style knife. It's got like a serrated edge on one side, and it's kind of curved at the tip. And then it's got a nice little black handle, the little silver type piece. And that's pretty much it as far as accessories. And of course, you know, the hockey mask. And then if you get up close, you can see some details here where we would have a pocket of some additional weapons. You can even see little tassels put on there. Now you don't get an extra hand with this particular Jason figure, and that's a little unfortunate because it's the only one that has gloves on, at least that they've made so far. So unfortunately, I mean, you could use the Jason hands from the other figures, but you would probably switch both hands out. But even though you don't get two different hand or any more hands with this, all the weapons fit very well. You know, it doesn't matter what hand you pick. There's no issues at all. I mean, they're not loose, they're not falling out, they're not too tight. They fit perfect in there. So the shape of these hands is really nice, like inside. It's not like too round. It's got like a little bit more space in there than the usual ones, which is good because I had a little bit of tough time with Roy. But yeah, these are really, really well done. So overall, this is a great figure. I'm very happy with it. If I was to recommend one Friday the 13th Jason figure to you from this Mego line, this would definitely be it. You know, you had the part 1, 2, 3, and 5 so far, and they've all been good, but none of them really has had that classic Jason look that we want. The part 3 was really good, but it was the first Mego that they made, and it wasn't quite as articulate. It was the Type 1 body, so this is the first like real Jason hockey mask Jason figure in this new Type 2 body. So they've done a really good job with it. Really happy with the design. I think they've really hit it right on that mask. I think it's very, very good looking. The weapons. So they've done a really good job. Soon we'll have the Part 6 Ultimate 7-inch figure coming out, and that comes out around October, I believe. And yeah, look forward to that one. And I'm sure they'll have some more of these Mego Jason figures down the line. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons. So here he is next to the recently released Comic-Con exclusive Part 1 Jason Voorhees. So you can see a nice scale size difference. So very cool to see these two next to each other. And here he is with the mother. And you can see she's just a little bit shorter than him, but for the most part they're about the same size. And here he is with one of my favorite characters of the Mego line, is this Part 2 Freddy's Revenge, Freddy Krueger. And it looks like Jason's trying to poke his eye out. You can see he's just a little bit bigger, and if we take the hat off, yeah, Jason's just a little bit bigger. And here he is next to Roy Burns, the copycat killer. Just for one more size comparison, here he is next to the 7-inch Part 4 NECA Jason figure, which is probably my favorite Jason figure of all time. So yeah, there's all the comparison. Look for this figure in stores now, and thanks for watching the review. Please subscribe, leave a comment, question, and see you later. Wait a minute, Jason doesn't laugh.